World War II did not begin overnight. Although the war officially started on September 1, 1939, when Germany invaded Poland, the real origins of the conflict stretch back more than 2 decades. The seeds of the deadliest war in human history were planted in the aftermath of World War I. Between 1918 and 1939, political mistakes, economic disasters, rising nationalism, and the failure of international diplomacy gradually pushed the world toward another global conflict. In 1918, World War I came to an end. Millions of soldiers and civilians had lost their lives, and Europe was left devastated. Many believed this would be the war to end all wars. However, peace proved fragile. In 1919, the victorious Allied powers signed the Treaty of Versailles with Germany. The treaty forced Germany to accept responsibility for the war, pay enormous financial reparations, surrender valuable territory, and drastically reduce the size of its military. While the treaty was intended to secure lasting peace, many Germans viewed it as deeply humiliating and unjust. Feelings of anger and revenge spread throughout the country. The economic burden of reparations soon pushed Germany into crisis. By 1923, hyperinflation had destroyed the value of the German currency. Families who had spent years saving money found their life savings worthless almost overnight. Poverty, unemployment, and political instability created an atmosphere of desperation. The situation became even worse after the Great Depression began in 1929. Banks collapsed, businesses failed, and millions of people across the world lost their jobs. Germany was among the countries hit hardest. Economic suffering caused many citizens to lose faith in democracy and seek leaders who promised rapid change and national revival. One of those leaders was Adolf Hitler. Through powerful speeches and propaganda, Hitler blamed Germany's problems on the Treaty of Versailles, political opponents, and minority groups. He promised to restore Germany's military strength, rebuild its economy, and return the nation to greatness. In 1933, Hitler became Chancellor of Germany and quickly established a dictatorship. At the same time, other aggressive regimes were also rising. Benito Mussolini strengthened fascist rule in Italy, while Japan expanded its military influence in Asia. These governments believed that military power and territorial expansion were the keys to national success. Meanwhile, the League of Nations, created after World War I to maintain peace, repeatedly failed to stop acts of aggression. When Japan invaded Manchuria in 1931 and Italy invaded Ethiopia in 1935, the League condemned these actions, but took little effective action. These failures convinced aggressive nations that they could expand without facing serious consequences. Hitler then began openly violating the Treaty of Versailles. Germany secretly rebuilt its military, reintroduced conscription, and in 1936 sent troops into the Rhineland, a region that had been demilitarized after World War I. Britain and France protested but chose not to intervene militarily. The policy of appeasement soon became the dominant approach among European leaders. Hoping to avoid another devastating war, Britain and France allowed Hitler to make territorial gains without significant resistance. This policy reached its peak with the Munich Agreement of 1938, which allowed Germany to annex the Sudetenland from Czechoslovakia. Many believed peace had been secured, but Hitler viewed these concessions as signs of weakness. In March 1939, Germany occupied the rest of Czechoslovakia, proving that his ambitions extended far beyond the promises he had made. A few months later, Germany and the Soviet Union signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, a shocking non-aggression agreement that secretly divided Eastern Europe into spheres of influence. Finally, on September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland using a strategy of rapid coordinated attacks known as Blitzkrieg. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war on Germany. World War II had officially begun. The conflict that followed would become the largest and deadliest war in history, claiming tens of millions of lives. Yet its true origins lay not only in the invasion of Poland, but in the 21 years of political decisions, economic hardship, failed diplomacy, and growing extremism that slowly transformed a fragile peace into another global catastrophe.